The world needs to pay attention to who this man is, because he is inspiring an African revolution against the West right now. This is 37-year-old IbrahimTraore.
Now that we're talking about IbrahimTraore, white people are the problem, white people are the ones who are going to solve it. You know why? Because the people who are doing the exploitation, the destabilization, the only people they listen to are their people. And when I mean their people, I'm talking about their white people. And guess what? They even listen more when these white people happen to be people who are influencers. And the more influencers you see joining in this discussion, then the more we're going to see results. And the very first speaker is going to be Schulz. Listen to them.
You ready to talk about Burkina Faso?
Yes.
And just be mature about this. Okay, this is a serious issue and it's affecting a lot of people.
Where is Burkina Faso?
Mr. G, teach us.
Yeah, let's learn. But first of all, where is it?
West Africa. It's near like Mali.
Okay.
And for years they were colonized by the French.
Okay.
And the French basically colonized them and started taking all the resources.
Yep. As they do.
As they do.
Only them.
Well, they apparently have their history of colonization is different. So, like the British sometimes would like come in and like nanny state, but the French would just come in and be like, we're taking everything.
Taking it all.
So then they get independence in the 60s, but the French leave, but then prop up a bunch of their backed politicians that then run the country and just kind of siphon off all the resources to the French.
Right.
Also, the US kind of comes in, starts siphoning off resources. So there's two problems happening in Burkina Faso, where the one is like the French occupation, and then the other thing is you have jihadists coming in from like Mali that are now displacing all these people in Burkina Faso.
The world needs to pay attention to who this man is, because he is inspiring an African revolution against the West right now. This is 37-year-old IbrahimTraore. He is the second youngest head of state in the world right now, and what his supporters say he represents is simple: African independence. You see, Burkina Faso is a former French colony, and since he became leader of the country in 2022, he has accused France of neocolonialism, which in other words is when a country is still trying to control the other, but now just through more hush means. So when he seized power, he started to make drastic changes. He ordered the French troops to leave the country. He expelled French diplomats and Western media. He banned the use of British and French colonial-style judicial wigs in efforts to decolonize the country's judicial system. And then he started making major changes. He started cutting ties with foreign companies involved in Burkina Faso's infrastructure development, like roads, bus stations, airports, and then started replacing them with locally equipped and trained workers, and then acquired around 1,000 road building machines for them to use. He started introducing policies to boost local control over food production and processing. He started pushing for greater state control over energy, reducing the dependence on foreign suppliers of electricity. And then, in the clearest statement to the West yet, he has started buying back a number of the country's major gold mines previously owned by foreign entities. He called the purchases a reclaiming of national wealth from exploitative foreign ownership. But here's where things get crazy, because what started in Burkina Faso has now become something much bigger.
What IbrahimTraore represents, the peculiar challenges he faces with France, and the spread of the fight for economic freedom. It is this fight for economic freedom that got IbrahimTraore to kick out France, and they didn't take it lightly. So they invited America to help them do their dirty work. And immediately America got in, they got the American General Langley to give IbrahimTraore a bad name.
He didn't just accuse Captain Ibrahim of stealing Burkina Faso's gold. He accused him of stealing Burkina Faso's gold to pay for his own protection. Well, I wonder why he would need protection. Well, one of the obvious reasons is that both France and the United States are quite clearly committed to killing him. What is it about Captain Traore that they want to kill? Well, in addition to the great strides forward that you have adumbrated, this very week, the Burkina Faso government abolished all education fees. It is now free to go to nursery, primary, secondary, and university in Burkina Faso. What's not to love about that? Traore has nationalized the building of the country's roads when he discovered that the private French companies that were hitherto building the roads were charging up to 100 times more for the building of those roads than the government of Burkina Faso itself can do. And so he's brought it in-house. There's now a public works department in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou, which will henceforth pave and lay roads across the whole country.
Okay, so we had him. Look, all Africa wants is respect. Come to Africa as partners, not as masters. You need resources. Africa has all those resources. You've been exploiting it for years. No problem. And they're just saying, from now on, we want more for what we have. You've been exploiting these things and giving them nickels. And when they want to complain, you destabilize their country or you unalive them. And Africans are beginning to say, enough is enough. Come to us as partners. Let's talk as partners and have a mutually beneficial agreement that will favor you and favor us, which is different from the Lord, Master, Servant, Slave relationship you've been getting away with in the past. You must recognize that today things have changed. There's social media, so people know what's happening in real time. There are so many things you just can't get away with today, which is why you should go to Russia or China and study their blueprint and see why they are getting traction in Africa. Now, this is the Russian president sitting with IbrahimTraore. Listen to him talk to IbrahimTraore respectfully as a partner. He uses the words we, cooperation. He's not directing IbrahimTraore on anything. Listen.
I remember our constructive and useful conversation back in 2023 when you visited our country for the first time to participate in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. And now we are united by our joint goal to fight against terrorism and extremism, and we will continue to support the Republic and restoring constitutional and lawful order to fight against unlawful factions that are still operating in some parts of Burkina Faso. In recent years, we have accomplished great progress in mutually beneficial cooperation in various fields. And the economic cooperation is also important, even if trade is modest. It's growing, which is a good trend, and we need to preserve it. And we will continue to work together on further strengthening our economic ties and diversify further our trade cooperations. And it was useful to hold economic days of Burkina Faso in Russia that were held in 2024. And it was attended by the high-level Burkinabe delegation led by the Deputy Prime Minister, and we are working now on establishing intergovernmental commission. We have already established a working group to look into that matter, and we will continue to support your country in training personnel in 2024 and in 2025. There is a great potential in cooperation in the field of healthcare and sanitary regulations. Recently, on April 24-25, Madam Popova visited Ouagadougou and discussed the development of scientific and research infrastructure and training of personnel.
Africa has woken up. Things are not going to be as they were before. It's not going to be business as usual. Come to Africa as partners and you will not have any problem. Nobody will chase you away. But as long as you insist on pilfering, on looting, on taking by force and paying little, you will continue to have a problem. Now, I reacted to this video, about white people talking about IbrahimTraore, and I got various comments about people saying that we don't need white people, that white people should get off, that they are not important and all that. It's a lie. It's a lie. You need all the people you can get.